Yes, sir. Say one more time. Gotcha. Joshua Williams, JOSHUA WILLIAMS.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Can you tell jurors how you're currently employed?
Say one more time, sir.
How are you currently employed?
I'm a police officer with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
Excuse me, Mr. Abate, would you use the microphone, please? Thank you.
And how long have you been employed by the City of Atlanta Police Department?
11 years and 4 months.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, I guess, where within the City of Atlanta Police Department are you assigned, or what unit are you assigned to?
Zone 3.
Okay. And were you working that same zone, Zone 3, back in 2015?
Yes, I was. Yes, sir.
And can you briefly tell the jurors where is Zone 3 contained within the bounds of City of Atlanta?
Generally, like most of Metropolitan Parkway, Jonesboro Road, McDaniel Street, University Avenue,
Okay.
Southwest Atlanta.
Okay. And have you always worked in Zone 3 since you've been employed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you tell the jurors back on January 8th of 2015 were you dispatched to the area surrounding or near 675 Metropolitan Parkway?
Yes, sir, I was. I was dispatched to 565 Wells Street, Southwest initially.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, are both of those addresses here within the City of Atlanta, Fulton County?
Yes, they are. Yes, sir.
And how close is the Wells Street address that you were initially dispatched to and the 675 Metropolitan address that you went to eventually or second?
Less than 1 mile.
Okay. And when you arrived at the Wells Street address, can you tell the jurors what you observed or what you first encountered?
Yeah, so when I arrived on scene, I spoke with the security guard at the location. She advised that she heard.
Don't tell me what the security guard told you.
Okay,
but
sorry.
after speaking with the security guard, can you tell the jurors what you did next?
So after speaking with the security guard, one of my coworkers pulled over a vehicle on Metropolitan Parkway and advised the vehicle had been shot at, like had damage to it. I went to that location and we related the cause at that point.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit II 7, 10, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So II 7 and II 10 through 15.
Yes, sir.
It should be pulled up on the screen in front of you here in a second.
Okay.
Now, in State's Exhibit II 7, is that the vehicle that you went to? You said an officer that you worked with called over the radio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is that the vehicle that you encountered?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the jurors, did you speak to the driver of the vehicle once you arrived to the blue truck contained in II 7 State's Exhibit?
Yes, sir, I did speak to him.
Okay. And do you remember his name?
Mr. Detorius Rivers.
Okay. And without telling me what he said, can you tell the jurors, had he actually physically been shot?
No, he had not been shot.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors in II 7 what area of the vehicle had been shot?
I know that the windows have been shot out, but I'm not sure about the other sides on the vehicle.
Okay. And when you, I guess in speaking with Mr. Rivers, can you tell the jurors where you went next as it relates to your investigation and after speaking with Mr. Rivers?
Yes, we went into 675 Metropolitan Parkway. It's like a large business park. There's a studio at the location. That's where we went next.
Okay. And it should be on the screen in front of you here in a second. I want to show you what's already been entered into evidence as II 18.
Yes, sir.
And while we're getting that up, can you describe to the jurors, you said it's I guess, what kind of location is 675?
It's like a large business park. There are different like businesses at the location, and also some people live there as well.
Okay. And through your number of years in working in Zone 3, can you tell the jurors the businesses that you described Are there music studios contained within 675 Metropolitan?
Yes, there are.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, once you arrived to the business complex, what you kind of did first as it related to, I guess, your part of the investigation and securing the scene?
Yes, so we went to where the studio was located, and we found shell cases on the ground belonging to a 762 shell casings.
Okay.
So
And you said that belonged, or you said there were 762 shell
yeah,
casings.
caliber. Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jurors, based on your number of years with the City of Atlanta Police Department, what kind of gun fires a 762?
Assault rifles. Yeah, AK-47, stuff of that nature.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit II-46. And while we're pulling that up, can you tell the jurors, while you were on scene, did members of the City of Atlanta Police Department's kind of crime scene tech division show up?
Yes, they did. They showed up to process the scene, take photos, and collect the shell casings.
And were you present during the processing of the scene, whether it was photographing it and or collecting the 762 shell casings?
Yes, I was. Yes, sir.
And on the screen in front of you, State's Exhibit II-46, are those the 7 shell casings that you described and that were located at the Metropolitan
Yes, sir.
Shopping Center?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, the Business Center. And can you just describe for the jurors, I know it's not a great picture, can you kind of describe to the jurors where within the complex that we saw the front in State's Exhibit II-7, can you explain to the jurors kind of where in relation to that these 7 shell casings were located?
I'm trying to remember, but in relation to the picture you showed, I think it's to like the right side. So you would pass by those doors and go off to the right, and the studio's on the side of that building.
Okay. And would this be an area where cars or trucks would park while at the studio or some other business within the complex?
Yes, sir.
And when you were on scene and you located the shell casings, did you locate any other vehicles or individuals who had sustained gunshots?
So no one had been shot, but there was another vehicle at the location that had been shot, had damage to it.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, do you remember, was it a sedan? Was it a truck?
It was a large purplish truck.
And in State's Exhibit II-24, can you tell the jurors, is this the large purple truck that you just described?
Yes.
And do you remember, based on, I know it's been a number of years, where the vehicle has sustained gunshots?
Honestly, I do not remember.
Okay. And in the next photo, State's Exhibit II-28, it should be up on the screen here in a second.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection as to where the purple truck had been shot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And while on scene, did you ever have an opportunity to speak with or find out who owned the purple truck?
No, I did not. The owner refused to come outside.
Now, a few days later, on January 11th of 2015, can you tell the jurors, were you dispatched to the area of 215 Hendricks Avenue?
Yes, it was. It was 213 Hendricks Avenue. That was the initial location.
Okay. And that address, is that here in the City of Atlanta, Fulton County?
Yes, it is.
And can you tell the jurors, is that address in the same zone that you've been describing, Zone 3?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And just to orient the jurors, can you tell them about how far is the Hendricks Avenue address or area in relation to what we were just talking about, the 675 Metropolitan Parkway area?
That's about 1.5 miles away.
Okay, it's pretty close.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors during this situation or circumstance you were dispatched, why were you dispatched to the Hendricks Avenue area? So
we received a call of shots fired at the location. Some advisor was shooting in the area. Okay. That's why we were initially called out there.
Okay. And in a second, we are going to pull up State's Exhibit, I believe it's 1. DDD. So 1 Delta 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 A. And while we're pulling that up, can you explain to the jurors what kind of, I guess, area or location is this? Is this another business complex?
This is residential.
Okay. And in the screen in front of you, can you tell the jurors, I guess, which house was of interest to your investigation?
It's the house on the right.
Okay. So if you were to, can you turn around and point to on the screen? What house?
The house right here on the right side.
Okay. So the one furthest to the right.
Furthest to the right, yes, sir.
Looking at the exhibit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors when you did arrive, did you arrive alone or with other officers?
There was multiple officers out there
Okay.
and a supervisor.
Can you tell the jurors when you arrived to this location, did you begin to kind of canvass or look for individuals with guns or anything suspicious as it related to gunfire?
Yes, we did. We all canvassed the area, and initially we didn't find anything.
Okay. And when you were canvassing the area, did you also, were you able to locate any ballistics evidence in relation to the house that we see in State's Exhibit 1DDDA in the, I guess, top right-hand corner?
I don't remember if we located the shell cases before or after we found the house.
Okay. So, but to your recollection, did you locate ballistics evidence or
Yes.
shell casings?
Yes, we did.
On scene.
Yes, we did.
And do you recall how many?
At least 2.
Okay. And now, while on scene, were you able to interact to or speak with any residents of the house that we've been describing in 1DDDA or anybody who lived in the area?
Yes. So one of my coworkers, Officer Pena, he was stopped by 2 people that were inside of this home here, and they told him that the house had been shot at multiple times.
And while you were on scene, did members of the crime scene tech division within the Atlanta Police Department arrive to kind of photograph and process the scene like you described earlier?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And in this instance, at this, I guess, this residential area, this home, had anyone actually been physically shot?
No, no one.
And after the ballistics evidence was located by you and your fellow officers who responded and then photographed and collected by City of Atlanta Crime Scene Texas, kind of complete your part of the investigation as related to this shooting?
Yes.
You got not anything further pending redirect?
All right, are there questions for this witness? Okay, go ahead.
Officer Williams, good afternoon, sir.
Hello, sir.
I have got some questions for you, mostly about the first thing that you testified about, the
Yes, sir.
the shooting of the music studio.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going back now to January the 8th of 2015, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it is about 11:14 p.m. at night when you respond to this location. First, you went to Wells Street.
Yes,
Is that right?
565 Wells Street.
Okay, so 565 Wells Street is where you go to, and you're going there to investigate a shots fired call.
Yes, sir.
Right. You get there, and you have a conversation with the security guard.
Yes.
You are conducting an investigation about these shots that have been fired.
Yes, sir.
Not you, but another officer pulls over a car that's driving down the street not far from that location.
Yes, sir.
The car is driving with no lights on, and that is why it's pulled over, as far as you know. True?
Yes, sir. True.
You go to that location.
Yes.
You interact with that individual,
Yes, sir.
and we've seen the photos that were put up a little while ago. So this person was in a vehicle that was, I won't say the recipient of, but it received gunshots to the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And you come to find out, because you're trying to find out where everything happened, that this vehicle that this guy was in that was shot up was actually in front of the music studio, right?
Yes, sir.
Which brings you back to the music studio.
Yes, sir.
So you go back there, and I want to ask you about everything that you observed when you got there. Now, you go to the music studio. It's at 675 Metropolitan Parkway.
Yes, sir.
It is a location that has numerous businesses, but specifically a music studio.
Yes, sir.
You worked in that area for some period of time. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir, I have.
You know about the music studio,
Well, yes, I do.
and you know various artists, local artists and so forth, go to that music studio often.
I mean, yeah, I know now. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Rich Homie Quan, you familiar with who that gentleman was?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Were you aware at the time that you were there that night that was a studio that he often recorded at?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't know.
All right. What you came to find out, though, was that there were shell casings in front of that location, at the Metropolitan Parkway location.
Yes, sir.
It was obvious to you during your investigation as an officer, having seen things like this before, that someone had appeared to have been shooting at the music studio.
Yes, sir.
And apparently this gentleman in the pickup truck was either in the way or was just unlucky enough to have his car shot up while shots are being fired at this music studio.
That's possible. It's
Okay.
possible.
Assault rifle. There were assault rifle shell casings.
Yes, sir. 762.
All right. And you would, of course, have been looking for, to the extent that you could find out, who had been shooting at the studio.
Yes, sir.
Description of individuals, that sort of thing.
Yes, sir.
You were looking for what was described as a gray Honda sedan, isn't that right?
Yes, 2 males jumped inside of it and left the location.
2 males.
Yes.
All right. So at this point, you know, what you know and what you're trying to relay either to other officers or trying to find yourself are 2 males who were in a gray, what was described, what you believe to be a gray Honda sedan doing the shooting at the music studio.
Yes, sir.
At any time then or any time thereafter, did any investigators ever discuss with you anyone who had been arrested or charged with that shooting?
No. No, sir.
Now, one of the things that you discovered, though, was that there was a purple vehicle, that purple truck, pickup truck, I guess it was,
Yes, sir.
that we saw. That vehicle had some bullet defects to it as well.
It did.
Were you able to determine, I know you said that the owner of the vehicle wouldn't come out of the studio to speak to you, but were you able to determine that that vehicle belonged to Mr. DeQuantes Lamar?
No. No, sir. Not at that time.
You don't know who it belonged to?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Did you receive or were you able to convey any sort of description of these 2 individuals in the gray Honda, gray what was thought to be a Honda vehicle?
No, it's not. Not from what I remember.
Just 2 guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have any further involvement with any investigation related to the shooting of that music studio?
After that, no, I did not.
Let me just ask you 1 or 2 questions about the January 11th, maybe more than 2 questions about the January 11th incident that you investigated. That was the incident on Hendricks Avenue, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Shots fired.
Yes, sir.
You go to the location.
Yes, sir.
Don't really see much of anything at the location right away.
Yes, sir. We didn't.
But later on, you come to determine through your investigation that apparently there was a shooting that had taken place at that location.
Yes, at 197.
Okay. Were you able to, was there a Kenneth Copeland anywhere around that location on that night?
Not that I remember. It's been a while.
Were you able to determine whether or not Kenneth Copeland or any family members of Kenneth Copeland lived at that location?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Did that name even come up at that point?
I don't think so. It's been a while. I don't think so.
Okay. You did canvass the area, correct?
Yes, sir.
No one, to your knowledge, was ever arrested or charged with shooting at that house at any time thereafter?
No, sir.
Not that you're aware of?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, sir. Officer Williams, that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other defense questions? All right, come on up.
Okay, thank you. May it please court, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Officer Williams.
Good afternoon. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay with this mask?
Yes, sir. I
Well,
can.
under the weather.
I
Okay.
can.
As I understand, officer, you were dispatched to the shooting at 11:14 p.m. on January 8th, 2015, correct?
No shots fired call. Yes, sir.
Yes. Shots fired call.
Yes, sir.
You went to 565 Wells, and then from 565 Wells, did you go straight to the location where the other officer had that car pulled over?
Yes, sir. From what I remember.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so 675 Metropolitan, the location of the actual the studio,
Yes, sir.
was the third location that you went to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know? Again, we got this 11:14. I think is the dispatch time. Do you
Yes.
know what time that you arrived at 675 Metropolitan?
I do not remember. No, sir.
From your recollection of that night, do you have a estimate of the time that passed, or the estimate of the time that you arrived at 675 Metropolitan?
I do not know. I mean, didn't take long, but I'm not sure.
I'm sorry.
I said it did not take me long to get there, but I'm not sure.
Okay, fair
Like
enough.
the actual time period. It's been a long time. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Was there another law enforcement officer while you were going to first Wells and then to the location where the car was pulled over? Was there another APD officer at 675 controlling that scene, or were you the first one to arrive there as well?
I believe I was the first, but I believe I was the first one there.
Okay, so is it fair to say, and I'm not putting the blame on you, but is it fair to say that an amount of time passed between the shooting and when you actually arrived at 675 Metropolitan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Hilton, could you do me a big favor and publish Indigo 18? Okay, sir, is that showing on your computer? Do you have the-
It
okay,
is.
okay,
It is.
great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So this is, I see the signage, the Metropolitan. Is this picture what studio do you know that operates at 675 Metropolitan?
I didn't know of the name, but we found out it was a music studio like during the investigation.
Did you know it to be associated with TIG?
I did not. No, sir.
Okay. Do you know that at this point?
I do now.
Okay. Is this picture where it says the Metropolitan, this red building or orangish building, is that the actual studio, or is the studio part of this?
No, that's not the actual studio. That's just the front of the building. The studio, I think, was on the right side of the building, like on the side.
Okay, so is it fair to say that this is kind of like an office park with several different businesses
Yes.
operating?
There are a ton of businesses. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Ms. Hilton, if you could do me another favor and publish Indigo 46. This is, officer, this is obviously, this is where you found shell casings, correct?
Yes, sir.
7 of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is this on the grounds of the overall business park?
From what I remember, yes.
Okay,
It
is
looks like
this,
the ramp.
that fence, is that a fence by the shell casings?
Yes, it is.
Okay, from your recollection,
Mhm.
are the shell casings on the side of the fence of the business? Well, does that fence separate the business park property from adjoining property?
I believe it separates it from another property.
Okay, and those shell casings, are they on the property of the business park or the adjoining property?
I actually believe the adjoining property, but like I said, it's been years. I don't remember exactly.
Understood. The actual studio itself,
Yes, sir.
the outside of the structure, did you observe any defects in the studio?
Not that I remember, just the vehicles, from what I remember.
Okay, just the vehicles. And when you say the vehicles, you're referring to the vehicle that was pulled over
Yes.
and also that purple
And
vehicle.
yes.
Ms. Hilton, if you could do me a favor, Indigo 28. Thank you. And this is, of course, the purple vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that night, of course, you've identified the two defects to the windshield,
Mhm,
rear
yes, sir.
windshield.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever find the projectiles associated with those
The shell casings or the projectiles themselves?
projectiles?
The projectiles, not that I remember. No.
Okay. And as part of your investigation, you were at that time not able, am I correct that you were not able to determine the owner of this vehicle, or were you?
Not at that time, no.
Okay. Were you in subsequent investigation, or did it remain unclear to you?
It remained unclear. I did not know.
Okay.
So,
Now, you said that you, the owner of you wanted to further your investigation upon arriving at the scene and seeing this vehicle, correct?
yes, sir.
And at that time, you had not been able to speak to the owner of the vehicle,
Mm.
and you, other than the person that was pulled over, you weren't able to speak to anyone on the scene, correct?
Yes, sir. No one else.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you wanted to speak to the people on the scene?
Say it again?
You desired to speak to the people on the scene?
Yes.
Further your investigation?
Yes.
Okay. And your testimony was that the owner of the studio did not want to come out. Okay, so I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
How did you attempt to make contact with the owner of the studio?
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. But I know we did attempt like to see if the owner would come outside. I think we may have spoken to Mr. Rivers, but that was it. Like,
Oh, would it have been through phone? Did you see anyone in the studio?
didn't see anybody, no.
Okay.
And through phone, I don't think so.
Do you know who the owner of the studio is,
No.
or who refused to come out?
No, I did not.
Have you testified you know of someone named Rich Homie Kwan?
Hmm.
Do you know him to have been on scene at that time?
I didn't. No.
Okay. No, you don't know, or no, he wasn't.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know at all.
How about Donovan Thomas, who goes by nickname Peanut? Do you know if he was on the scene that night?
Not at all. No.
You don't know?
No,
Or he
I do.
wasn't?
I do not know. I do not know.
But according to your investigation, there were people within the studio that were refusing to come out.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else from the defense with questions? All right, redirect.
Very briefly. Officer Williams, the shell casings that we've seen and you described, were they found in the area which was described as to where Mr. Rivers had been parked previously?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Shell casings that you found, were those in the area where Mr. Rivers had been parked previously before you encountered him traveling down Metropolitan?
They were close by. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Sharp asked you if you knew if Donovan Thomas or a person named was known as Rich Homie Kwan, if you knew if they were there. Do you remember that? Do you remember him asking you that?
I remember. Yes.
And to your recollection and your review of your reports and the materials before testifying, did you ever speak to either a Donovan Thomas or a Rich Homie Quan?
No,
Never encountered
neither.
them?
Never, neither.
Nothing further.
Anything else?
So just one quick question. The people that were there, they refused to speak to you, right?
The people that were there,
At,
for what I remember, we just didn't speak to anyone else there, but I don't know if anyone else refused to come outside.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am.